So here are my 6 eco-friendly coffee makers that I use in my galley. Now all of these coffee makers meet my criteria for eco-friendly boating, and they are also all boat-friendly, meaning if somebody stumbles and it falls on the floor, they're not going to break. None of these require additional electric power, which they all do require boiled water, of course, which I do on my galley stove using my favorite kettle. To see my favorite accessories, including the kettle, watch this other video up there. The first one is my smallest. Isn't that so cute? You can get these online, but they're not very expensive, and they come in different sizes. This is a single serving. It is actually a Vietnamese coffee maker. I don't use this every day, just for specialties, sometimes in the evening. So it has a lid. It has this little gadget here, which keeps the coffee grounds down. It has the brewing chamber, has a bunch of holes in the middle, and it has a little lid. This little lid sits on top of a glass. So put the glass lid on top of the glass. I put the brewing chamber here. I put in my coffee grounds, usually about, I used to use 1 big scoop, depending on how strong I wanted. Then you put this little gadget on top, like there, and then you pour in just a little bit of water to soak up the grounds, let it sit for about 3 minutes, and then fill up the rest of it with hot water, put the lid on, and you just let it sit there, and it slowly drips through into the cup. What I do is I also put condensed cream in the bottom. When it's all full up, I stir it all up, and it makes a delicious, sweet evening treat. Delicious. In the summertime, you can take this and pour it over ice, and it makes a nice iced coffee. Here's my next one. It's a Briki. It makes Greek coffee or Turkish coffee, and this one is so simple. But you do use a Greek coffee, which is a golden bean. Put your grounds in, and you put your water in, and then you cook it really slowly over the stove. You would think this is really strong, but the golden beans make this so mellow. So the next one is one of my favorites for gadgets, and it's my Wacaco MiniPresso. This is the whole thing. Comes complete in a little package. It's got a little chamber here. The chamber has a little cup for putting the coffee in. It's got a little water reservoir. This side here has a cup for drinking, and then this is where all the magic happens. It doesn't look like it's going to create a great espresso, but it actually does. So what you do simply is you take this little cup, which is your measuring cup, you fill up this little container here. You take this and you put it inside the brewing chamber, and then this little guy here, which has a little nozzle at the end, you put that on here, it screws right in, and then what you do, fill this with hot water right up to the line, and you just screw this on top. You see this little pump on the outside. So what you do is you turn it over, pump this 2 or 3 times until a little bit of coffee starts dripping out here, but then you wait. You let the hot water soak it up. Just wait about a minute or so, and then you pump, and all this delicious espresso comes out into the cup. I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Green Boater TV. I would very much appreciate if you could hit the subscribe button, the like button. It helps us keep the channel going. Now, back to the episode.
Just change one thing.
The next one is an AeroPress. That's one of these little guys here. I've got 2 of them. I use them all the time. They originally come with a little paper filter that goes on the bottom here. I've got a little container here with these filters. These papers are messy and they don't hold the water very well. So get rid of the papers. I bought this little disc. It just fits in here, and that way I don't have to throw away any of the paper anymore. Even nicer is it's this little guy here. It has a screen inside, and it's also got this little nozzle that doesn't let any of the water out. You get rid of this thing and you replace it with this. Then you have no filters to throw out. When you brew, you can brew upside down, so you don't have to do the flip thing. When you're done, you open this up, and there's a little coffee puck right at the end, like that, and puck falls into your compost. The next coffee maker I have is a Moka Pot. The Moka Pot is used by millions of Italians every day for their regular coffee, so it must be pretty good. And it stands the test of time. These things can be picked up at any secondhand store and Facebook Marketplace. No need to spend a lot of money. You can get these for relatively inexpensive. I have a small one, I have a medium, and a large, depending if I'm making one just for myself or if I'm making it for 3 or 4 people. They're very, very simple to use. Essentially, you open this little guy up on a little screw. You take the little filter out. You fill this up with water up to this, where this little expansion nozzle is, or the vent. Fill it up with cold water. Put the filter in here. Fill that up with coffee grounds, and depending again the kind of bean you want. And sometimes I use a little cup to actually tamp it down. And then you basically just screw this thing back together, and you put it on low heat on your stove, and just wait until the aroma comes and fills the whole galley. Take it off the heat, and away you go. A Moka Pot. And the last one that I have on board that I make is a French press. So this one I love because it's made by a company called Espro, and there's a couple of reasons why I like this. One is it's double walled, so it keeps the coffee really hot. It's metal. It's made actually from high grade stainless steel. This one's black, so It doesn't show the dirt. The other thing that I really like is that it's got a double filtration system in here, which means that you don't get that bitter taste that you get with a lot of French presses that have just one little filter, and the coffee grounds sit in the water and it just gets stronger and stronger and sometimes bitter. This thing has two filters, these magic little filters, and they just screw in together like this. And it's a microfilter system. It's patented by Espro. I love these things. If you buy them new, they're expensive. I got mine actually on Facebook Marketplace for like $40. There's some lines inside you can't really see. It shows you where the minimum amount and the maximum amount is. Put that in there and then you just wait. I usually leave it in there for about 4 to 6 minutes. You just simply press it down and you're way to go. Now, the nice thing about this too, because of the double filtration, once you've pressed it, it stops brewing. And because of the double wall, it keeps the coffee nice and hot. Which one is my favorite? Well, it's the AeroPress. Ta-da! I love this. This makes the tastiest coffee at a most consistent basis because you've got a fixed amount of coffee you can put in. You've got a fixed amount of water that you put in. You can set your timer, and then when you press it out, it comes out through this little this add-on. You've got to get this add-on. This thing, you'll love it. And you have to get the add-on. It's like $25. I'll put a link in the description below. But I love this. Why do these qualify for green boating? Number one, they don't use any electricity. Number two, you can take the coffee grounds out and put them in your compost. And it doesn't use any filters. The only one, which is the AeroPress, but again, you can replace it with one of these discs, or you can replace it with the fellow snout at the bottom here. What do you do with the compost grounds? Well, there's 3 possibilities. One is collect them in your compost bin. Don't throw them in the garbage, and please do not throw them overboard. It's acidic. It's going to hurt the environment. So take it off board, throw it into a compost bin. Number 2, I've heard that you can put it into your bilge and absorb bad boat smell. I wouldn't do that when I'm underway, but if you're at a yard somewhere and you want to get rid of some of the bilge smell, I guess that's a possibility. And number 3 is you can also use it as filler in your composting toilet. There is a video up here that you can watch this video up here somewhere, which talks about the different material you can use in a composting toilet. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Green Boater, where I share with you my 6 great ways of making coffee. Thank you for watching this episode of The Green Boater TV. We are looking for 1 million boaters that are willing to change one thing in how they do their boating to help stop ocean pollution. Perhaps this video contained it. Subscribe to this channel for other ideas about how you can create the ocean you love.